Let's take one more break to reduce your mental stress and refresh you a little. You see, uh, in the whole world, obesity, right, getting fat, is becoming a major problem. When we are poor, we don't have enough to eat, and all the poor parts of the world, they have malnutrition problem and very thin and very low weight children and so on. But when we grow rich, first we from poor we want to become well off. Once we become well off, then we start eating so well that now we have an obesity problem, right? So earlier you were doing a lot of hard work, you wanted to avoid the hard work, so you studied a little, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years you studied in the university. Now you got a big degree, now you have got a very big job, now you eat very well, but you don't work so hard physically, so now you go to the gym. So you see, this weight loss, diet and so on is a big issue in the world. So here somebody wanted to have a lighter version of this weight loss thing. Said, when you look at cows and buffaloes and elephants, right, cows and buffaloes and elephants, then what do you learn from there? What do you learn from there? So somebody had a beautiful answer. He said, you see, you learn that eating a lot of green vegetables and green food and green lettuce and green salad, and by walking a little, eating a lot of green vegetables and green salads and so on, and by walking a little, you cannot reduce your weight. Just look at cows and buffaloes and elephants. So we finished the previous portion of the lectures on this last topic, right? That the chapter is ceramics and carbon materials. So now this very beautiful question: when we talk of carbon materials, are they polymers? Are they ceramics? You know what are all polymers? All polymers, or ethane, methane, butane, this, that, they are all long chains of carbons and hydrogens, hydrocarbon chains. So if carbon makes polymers, right, all hydrocarbons are polymers, then how is carbon a ceramic? So this is a very nice high level question. Let us see. Carbon materials range from ancient natural products to high-end modern engineering materials. Specific carbon materials include graphite, diamond, carbon fibers, fullerenes, carbon nanotubes. Right, so again, in basic level we have talked of some of these, but now we are talking of them again at a higher level. Graphite. Allotropic means more than one structure. Like iron is allotropic, right? Iron has alpha iron and gamma iron and so on. Carbon is allotropic because carbon can be as graphite, carbon can be as diamond. So graphite is an allotropic form of carbon with 6-member aromatic rings in graphite planes. Whenever there is this type of a ring, right, benzene ring, you call it a benzene ring, C6, H6 and so on. So this is there, right, and sizes are there and so forth. So the carbon-carbon bond, right, carbon-carbon bond. So these are strong, but the van der Waals are weak, and it is highly anisotropic. Anisotropic means that properties in one direction are not the same as properties in the other direction. Now, but because of these very incredibly strong bonds, highly or huge stresses are needed to break the in-plane bonds. In-plane. See, there is a plane like this, there is another plane like this, there is another plane. So in this plane, these bonds are very strong, but bonds between the planes can be broken, right? So easy occurrence of slip between the planes. So this is a very nice schematic diagram of graphite, that in each layer, right, it is like layers and layers and layers. Of course, this is a very enlarged, this distance, this whole distance is half a nanometer, right, half a nanometer. So the distance is very small, but in one sheet, in one plane, the intercarbon bonds are very strong and you can't easily break them, but the bond between planes can be sheared easily. So this is why graphite slides, right? You use graphite in your pencil. In your pencil, you use graphite and so on. You put graphite sometimes as a coke material in making of furnaces and so on for steels and irons. So graphite is, this is graphite. Some same composition as in diamond, composition, but extremely soft, between 1 and 2 on the Mohs hardness scale. Mohs, if you know, is a natural hardness scale. So diamond is say 10 highest, and 1 or 2 is the lowest. So this is a solid material, graphite, which can be used as an excellent lubricant and as a pencil lead. So if you want liquid lubricant, you have lubricating oils and thick viscous oils and so on. But if you want solid, you see, when we teach you manufacturing, for example, an extrusion, hot extrusion. So there is a big friction between the aluminum billet material and the container wall. So before they push the billet inside the container, they spray some graphite powder on it. So it is solid, it is not liquid will start to react and so on. This is solid. So solid powder of graphite, and then the billet goes inside and there is very little friction, right? So excellent lubricant. Thermally and electrically conductive along the layer planes, but insulates in the direction perpendicular to the plane, right? So anisotropy, right? Along the plane, very good conduction, but across the planes, almost insulation. Brittle and strong, highest known modulus 1100 gigapascal, huge modulus, compared with alloy steel which have 200 to 300 gigapascal. Graphite fits the technical definition of a polymer, long chain of repeated units covalently bonded to each other, right? So this is the definition of a polymer, long chain of repeated units covalently bonded to each other. So this way it is not a ceramic. It is not a combination of metallic and non-metallic members. It is just carbon. It is just carbon, right? Ceramic should be like aluminum oxide, isn't it? Like silicon carbide, one metal, one non-metal bonded together. So because it is not a combination, then it is not a ceramic, but it behaves like a ceramic. It is strong, it is brittle, it is highly insulating in one direction. So this is the problem, that by definition it can be a polymer, but by a lot of properties it behaves like a ceramic, right? Industrial uses include pencil lead, and as a cladding in nuclear reactors, and as a moderator that slows neutrons in uranium fusion, and so on, right? So that is why that question, that is carbon a ceramic, is carbon a polymer? So basically graphite, which is carbon chains, that it is a polymer by the way it is bonded, long chain, but by the way it is brittle, and it can be very strong, and it can be highly insulating in a certain direction. So it is a mix between polymer and ceramic. It is a polymer which behaves like a ceramic. Diamond, you know, diamond is an allotropic form of carbon, forms a clear FCC structure, Mohs hardness of 10, can be scratched only by other diamonds only, mostly colorless, but can be have other impurities to make color. So diamond, the purest diamonds are crystal clear like glass, but there can be colored diamonds. Commercial uses of diamonds, of course, gemstones, all jewelry and so on, but industrial applications, right? So diamonds can have color, size, clarity. Most diamonds are not suitable as gems. Most diamonds are not suitable as, over 80% of all diamonds are classified as BORT, B-O-R-T, which means they cannot be used in jewelry and gems. So 80% of the diamonds are diamonds, but they are not good quality in terms of clarity and color and so on. So they are used as lapping agents in saw blades, in drill bit tips, in low friction hinges, space shuttle, great potential as heat sinks in microprocessors, in semiconductors, can operate at temperatures above which silicon will melt, and diamond microchips is the future. diamond microchips is the future. So industrial uses of diamonds and gemstones, and more than 80% of all diamond produced naturally or by an artificial process is used for industrial purposes rather than as jewelry. Diamond formation, it is there in Africa, North Africa, you know, high temperature, high pressure, millions of years formation of diamond. But otherwise it is just carbon. Graphite and diamond chemically are the same. Synthetic diamonds, synthetic, right? Diamonds made in the factory. So this is huge. First synthetics in 1953. The biggest obstacle is the huge pressure, 55,000 atmospheres. 55,000 times the atmosphere, right? So HPHT method, all these production methods which are there, high pressure, high temperature. So giant and costly press, slow process. Pressures up to 5 gigapascal at 1500 Celsius. Chemical vapor deposition is a new process started in the 1980s only. So formation of carbon containing plasma on substrate molecule, then assembling and producing it. So these are now synthetic artificial means of producing diamonds. Carbon fibers, not diamonds, carbon fibers. Carbon as fiber, threads of carbon, right? So just go through very quickly, stabilization, carbonization, graphitization, right? This is how we make carbon fiber. Glass fibers. If you can make fibers of glass, then you can make fiberglass. If you can make fibers of carbon, then you can make carbon composites, nanocomposites and fiber, right? So these are much higher level of composites in properties and so on. So stabilization, what is the process? This is the general chemistry of the stabilization process. Carbonization, pyrolysis, carbonization, turbostratic, graphitization, graphene layer planes. So just quickly go through this, you will understand it. I have made slides which are easy enough to understand, and you can easily type it somewhere also to find what it is. Mesophase, what is pitch? What is mesophase? So this is again in the carbon materials. So quickly, mesophase pitch fibers are produced through melt spinning. We have done this in a manufacturing course, and these are advanced levels of carbon materials, right? So fiber type, and what are their properties in terms of tensile strength and Young's modulus and so on. What are fullerenes? These spheres like balls, footballs, but of this hexagonal structure, right? So these are called Buckminster fullerenes. These are very advanced materials. So they are sort of composite materials, but made of carbon backing, right? So these are fullerenes. Carbon nanotubes, CNT, carbon nanotubes. So you make tubes now, right? Tubes, not sheets, tubes. And these tubes are directly made of nano level carbon. And these are used in a lot of advanced materials today and so on. Multi-walled nanotubes, MWNTs, multi-wall nanotubes. What are these? They are nanotubes, but more than one wall. There is some equation, will not hold you to calculations of these, don't worry. And that ends the chapter for us, right? So I was a little fast in the end, but I just wanted you to have some idea of carbon materials which behave like ceramics, right? So these are very advanced. If you say carbon fiber composites and carbon nanotubes and graphenes and fullerenes, then these are very advanced levels of materials, and we have mentioned them earlier in the very first chapter. We can mention them again, but after this you can say that you can talk at least of some very modern materials. With that, a lot of thanks for the whole course to be with me. I hope you have enjoyed and had the disturbances of lots of breaks in the semester not there. We would have discussed some more of these in more detail. Thanks a lot again. Ma'as salama. See you in the exam or somewhere.